Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
We are a nation in decline.
Experts are preparing for what is known as Disease X, or the next pandemic.
What we are seeing is a revolution against the system.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Rise and Grind, live with you every Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. I am your host, VinceTagliavia. This is just a show. We talk about the news and events of the day in the morning time and have our coffee together here. So welcome, one and all. Hope you all are doing well. Today's January 23rd, 2024, and it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I know a lot of the states out there are dealing with the bitter cold and insane weather, and we've got the crazy downpour that happened in California and flooding in San Diego. So hope you're all right. I know some of y'all are out there, and so hope you're all staying safe and all of that. But we are going to get into things here as people tune in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see y'all. Audio is not matching video. That's weird. Yeah, let me know if anybody's having an audio video misalignment. Let me check on my end here. Yeah, that's weird. Very weird. Wonder, let me see if I could just toggle this. Test. No audio yet. Okay. That's really odd. I'm not sure what to do aside from start over here. Maybe I can do something. Let me think. How can I fix this issue? Maybe if I jump out for 1 second here. Let me see. Testing.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Testing. I apologize, guys. I'm troubleshooting. This is the beauty of live shows here. Let me see if that did anything for us. Christy, no audio. Try to refresh if you're having that issue. I have audio on my end. Yeah, there is an issue. Good googly moogly. Very weird. Let me see. Maybe I can jump out and jump back in. Give me 1 second here, and I'll be right. All right. I think I'm okay now. Maybe. I apologize, guys. And then I hear an alarm going off too. Gosh, good googly moogly. Well, let's get into the news. Are we good? Let's get into the news. Let me know in the chat if we're good. If not, then we will just have to carry on forward. At least we have good audio here. Let's see. I think we are good. All right. Just seeing if there's actually any issue with that alarm. I think it's done. But gosh, all right. Well, let's talk about it, folks. What's going on in the world today? Thank you for the notification there. Anyway, let's look where we're at. I like to start with finance, but first let's talk about what's going on. Everyone's talking about this darn doomsday clock. Scientists will reveal today if the world is any nearer to ending when they disclose that the doomsday clock has moved closer to midnight. This is just a bullshit made up clock, so don't worry. But they're like, scientists do a global evaluation and they'll tell you if we're closer to doomsday or not. Trust the science, folks. Well, they came out. They said the doomsday clock remains at 90 seconds to midnight. U.S.-based bulletin of atomic scientists say. Wah, wah. This, I think, is just to put it out there, just to plant the seed. Boom, doomsday on the mind. Hey, everybody, be scared. Just so you know, we're really watching the situation, but it's not any closer to SHTF or just scientists doing good sciencey stuff. Trust us. That's how I feel about it. I think it's baloney BS. But once something happens, they're going to say, we just got closer to midnight, everybody. Panic. Hurry, go to the store. Hurry, everybody at once. So we can scold you and tell you how stupid you all are. Sorry. That's just how I feel. Yeah, it must have been one of my neighbors' alarms going off. I guess they turned it off. Hope everything's all right. Okay. That's all. Doomsday, folks. Doomsday. All right. Well, let's take a look at the markets real quick. Oof. They were green. It opened up green, but now we're in the red, just barely entering the red, kind of across the board here, except oil's starting to go up. Gold is up as well at 2026. Silver is at $22.48. Bitcoin dipped down below 40,000 all the way down to $39,025.73 at the moment. It actually was under 39,000 for a little bit this morning. There are some rumors about Bitcoin going around. People are selling, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But let's look here. I appreciate this post. Genevieve's watching the overseas markets in China. And Genevieve Rockdector writes on X, good morning, everyone. China is urgently seeking measures to stop the sell-off of its stocks, which subsequently tanks their stock prices. She writes, latest rescue attempt, a $278 billion package to buy mainland shares via offshore trading links. They have tried many things in the last year. None have worked. They've tried restrictions on short selling, insurance firm ease rules to buy stocks, ETF purchases by state-backed funds. Chinese stocks have seen a staggering loss of $6 trillion in market value since their peak in 2021. Ouch. So it's just over since that period, we've seen them talking about boosting their markets, especially in the last year, just over and over again. They didn't do all these things at once. It's just thing after thing after thing that they try, and their economy's just been going boom, 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 down, 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 all the way from over 4,000 all the way down to 3,200, the CSI 300 index per Bloomberg. So not good. U.S. national debt as a percentage per, U.S. national debt as a percentage of GDP per Charlie Bilello. It's just a little bit of interesting data here that I'd like to look at real quick, and then we'll move on to the rest of these stories. We've got just a little reference here. In 1980, the U.S. national debt as a percentage of GDP was 31%, and we didn't see any significant increases until 85 at 40%. 1990, 52%, 1995, 65%, 2000, 58%, 2005, 61%, 2010, 87%, 2015, 101%, and now 123%. So it's actually increasing about the same over the last 40 years, increasing by about 5 or 10% every 5 years, more or less, but about, except 2000 2005, that was a slower increase, but steadily increasing since the 80s. That's for sure. Yikes. This was an interesting story put out there. Let me know if you're a real estate agent out there and how things are going in your area. You can send me a private message and email on my website or contact me on x.com or something. But Unusual Whales reported on X that 45% of real estate agents claim they're struggling to pay rent in November. Per Alignable, so this is last year's data, that's 5% higher than in October and 10% higher than September's reading. So a little increase there, not good. The irony of real estate agents paying rent is pointed out in the chats there. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Could you imagine? That's just wild to me too. Interesting concept there. Really interesting concept there. We've had this news with PayPal that I've been following just to follow. PayPal's new CEO is touting an innovation event ahead of earnings report. This was written this morning. It's just a Yahoo Finance article. They said that PayPal Holdings on Thursday plans to host an online presentation to tout new artificial intelligence-driven innovations the company plans to bring to the market in 2024. The move comes ahead of the fourth quarter earnings report for PayPal stock, which is slated for February 7th. New chief executive Alex Chriss announced the innovation event during an interview on CNBC last week. Chriss and PayPal's new chief financial officer, Jamie Miller, are expected to issue conservative 2024 guidance on February 7th. Wall Street analysts continue to weigh in on the innovation event. I wonder what that's going to be. Some AI-driven innovation there with PayPal. And I just want to look at their stock. It's up over 2% today. Up over 2% today. So we'll keep our eye on that. I do want to take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at Tesla. I like to see where they're at. They've gone up 0.43% today after opening up much higher, but they're at $209.68. Interestingly, I'm not a fan of Tesla, but I do like to follow where they're at on that from that point. Anyway, so Bitcoin, as I mentioned, dipped down below 39,000, and now it's just above 40,000. And the reason is the chatter going on about liquidation. Zero Hedge wrote a report, and they said it's been ugly. It's been an ugly sell the news period since spot Bitcoin ETFs were unleashed by a desperately begrudging SEC. Having peaked above 49,000 on the day the new ETF opened, Bitcoin has broken back below $39,000 overnight. We did see that huge increase when that ETF came out, and it's been downhill from there, losing a lot of value. Like they just said, 49,000 all the way to 39,000. And that's just from the 11th until today. Data from CoinGlass shows long position liquidations for Bitcoin have been considerable in the days since the new ETFs were launched, but today's data is significantly lower, suggesting the initial purge may be slowing. And then we saw a story too after this ETF came out and the prices plunged to that big players like BlackRock or something made huge investments into Bitcoin, buying tons of it. Anyway, that's what's going on with Bitcoin. A large chunk of the exodus, CoinDesk reports that a large chunk of the exodus from GBTC was FTX's bankruptcy estate dumping 22 million shares, according to private data CoinDesk reviewed and two people familiar with the matter. Oh, those darn anonymous sources. We gotta love it. The 22 million shares it sold, which took FTX's GBTC ownership down to zero, were worth close to $1 billion. So instead of GBTC outflows being recycled and netted off, a large portion of them is FTX liquidation based, a one-off event, not a systemic pressure on the underlying crypto asset. Interesting analysis there. Let's see. Well, we'll watch it. I guess that's all we could do, huh? This was something that Wall Street Silver pointed out. Do you remember back in 2021 when a few federal voting members were caught red-handed insider trading and they resigned? they were just cleared by an internal review. And they write a quote by who's that comedian? Gosh, his name escapes me right now. Dan Carlin? No, not Dan Carlin. George Carlin. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Walker America said, "Oh, look, the Federal Reserve Cabal's internal review found that fellow Cabal members did nothing wrong when they were caught insider trading. This should make you angry. These kleptocrats literally control our money and they are above the law. Disgusting." And they pointed out a central banking article and a Wall Street Journal article talking about these officials violating the rules and resigning. But now nothing's happening. They're innocent. We did an internal review and we found that we did nothing wrong. Onward. Meat inflation in 2 years is almost 100% higher. CPI is not even remotely accurate for reporting actual inflation in the economy. Have you seen other examples of this stuff that is up 100%, which is double the price? The problem with CPI data, they say, oh, that's, it looks at everything. It's a good, we take things and we put it in a basket and then we look at the prices and we analyze it and we send it to the American people so we know where we stand. Well, the things that they take and they put in this basket for the CPI data excludes a lot of things. Like they're probably not looking at this, which is why it's biased bullshit data. But we know the truth. We're buying everything. We're not buying just a basket of things. Anyway, let's hear this video.
Friendly PSA. This here is a chuck roast. This used to be just like not a luxury. Okay, this cut of meat 2 years ago was $15.99. Almost the exact same thing. Today, $29.04. You want to tell me that this establishment is doing better for our country? You're out of your mind. You're not middle class. And you need to go freaking look at what you're buying. Because literally, this hunk of meat is double the price. Double. From 2 years ago. Friendly PS.
That's all. She's pissed. Yeah, it's true. Things are much more expensive. And this is kind of sad. I saw this other video of somebody coping, I suppose. But let's see what they say about this situation.
You want to know a real thing I've been doing lately to deal with poverty? I've been trying to remind myself that, like, when I have basically no food, like right now before payday in a couple days, I try to remind myself that, like, if my ancestors had the food that I had right now, they'd be like, damn, you got pistachios? You got a bag of macadamia nuts? Like, fuck. You got some potatoes, they're frozen. All you got access to heat them up. You're living a life of luxury. That's what I keep trying to remind myself. Oh, you got coffee that you can make in however long it takes to heat up this pot, and it's been multiple cups, hence this stain. Wow, you got access to sugar, and it's just in an airtight container. Damn. That's what I keep. Oh, you got water in a bottle, and you got enough to last you until you need more. Damn.
I mean, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Appreciate the positivity coming from this person, but man, is it sad. It's so sad. And then that's like so close to much worse, because at some point things get so bad, you don't have that instant coffee. You don't have that electricity to heat up your water. You don't have nuts in bags on the shelf, right? I mean, that's how close people are to true, really horrific poverty. It's horrible. Horrible. Let's see. Christie's asking, who do you think Trump will announce as his choice for vice president? Surely he's got to announce at New Hampshire. I don't know if he's going to or not, but a lot of people are debating this, and it's a great thing to speculate on. I have no idea personally. I'm not a big fan of Rand Swami or any of these other people. I hope it's just a good surprise. I don't know if he even knows. I'm sure he has a good idea, but those things change over time. We'll see. We shall see. Thank you, Princess Lee 8 for the donation on DLive. I appreciate that. All right, Rumi, good to see you this morning. Howdy, Hatter. All right. Hey, Mr. Look and Shanna, good to see you. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to run to the chats real quick, see if there's any comments and things, and say good morning here. So hey, Forrest, let's continue on with a little bit of the political stuff going on. Hunter Biden still being investigated. And will anything happen? Who knows? Maybe one day. But Oversight Committee tweeted this out early this morning, 6 a.m. on the dot. Today, we are releasing the transcript of the transcribed interview with Kevin Morris, a Hollywood lawyer who has provided massive financial support to Hunter Biden. Here's a little thread with the key excerpts. Kevin Morris met Hunter Biden at a November 2019 fundraiser hosted by Lynette Phillips for then presidential candidate Joe Biden. They go on here, and they have the receipts here. This isn't bullshit. This is real stuff. All right. Just weeks after meeting Hunter Biden at the Joe Biden fundraiser, Kevin Morris began loaning Hunter Biden money and making numerous payments to third-party vendors to facilitate Hunter Biden's lavish lifestyle. These loans in quotes, were not documented until well after. Transcripts are provided for this information here. Kevin Morris interpreted his representation of Hunter Biden as global and widely used the attorney-client privilege to not answer our questions. Kevin Morris had minimal knowledge of what Skenitelis LLC does as a company, yet he admitted that he purchased the company from Hunter Biden and that it owns a stake in Bohai Harvest RST BHR. Kevin Morris's massive financial support to Hunter Biden raises ethical and campaign finance concerns for President Joe Biden. We will continue to follow the facts to understand the full scope of President Biden and his family's corruption. The full Kevin Morris transcript is on x.com, and it'll be on my Substack as well, that I'll publish just after this live show at or before 9:45 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you go to the description and follow my Substack, please, and share that information around as well. Censorship is real, and we're seeing it. We're going to talk about that today too. Onward. Trump seeks to lock in nomination at New Hampshire showdown today. Donald Trump aims to steamroll his way toward the Republican presidential nomination Tuesday in the New Hampshire primary by making short work of his only surviving opponent, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. So we shall see what happens there. Everybody's looking forward to it. There's been a lot of Trump going on. Even the youngsters are coming out of the woodwork. And look, just because I happen to be somebody who's going to vote for Trump doesn't mean that I'm going to be completely biased in my reporting, although there is that bias inherently. I can't avoid it. I did everything I could to try to find a Biden supporter and this and that to try to play this alongside this, but I couldn't find anything current, and I'm not sure if they exist. So we're just going to watch this one instead. Let's see what the youngins are saying over in the streets here, or in public spaces.
I think it's just a matter of time before more of these kids become Trumpers.
Donald Trump didn't win the majority of young people in Iowa, but they are here at his rally in New Hampshire to see him.
He doesn't lie to us. He's not a polished politician, which I think is a benefit, because he's not going to try and hide and lie.
Oh, God.
I think what he's done with the country while he was in office was fantastic. Everything seemed to be running smoother. Prices for everything were much cheaper and affordable for everybody, so that kind of kept me with him.
His positions on the economy, his positions on foreign policy, on trade, he is very pro-American. He's pro-me, pro the aspirations that I have for the future. I am definitely for Trump. I have been to Haley events. I tried to go to a Ron event. forgive me, I couldn't put up with it. It was too boring.
A huge theme beyond policy or even Donald Trump himself, the sense of community that people feel from being a part of the MAGA movement and coming to rallies like this one.
We'll stop there. Just nice to see some younger generation get involved politically and have a good head on their shoulders, huh? I will say. So, I mean, it's not looking good for anybody except Trump right now, as far as politics go. Shout out to Iowa parents. There you go, Forrest. Shout out to Iowa parents, indeed. And of course, we have Hawaii in the headlines. I don't know if y'all saw this. I don't think this is gonna come to fruition. But Nick Sorter reported that just in last night, Hawaii Democrats have introduced legislation to keep President Trump off the ballot for 2024 for the 2024 election. He writes, "Are they afraid Hawaii is going to flip from blue to red after Biden abandoned the people of Maui after the fires?" Yeah, no kidding, Nick. I think people forget about that or never even realized it happened in the first place. Or maybe they're afraid Trump will expose the rampant corruption out here in Hawaii. Yep. Luckily, there have been a lot of states trying this, and it just won't stick. It won't stick. We'll see what else they try. Onward. Michelle Obama this morning posted a nice video for all of us to see. Let's see what she has to say.
Chicago is the place that made me who I am. It's the place that shaped me, developed my self-confidence, helped me discover my voice. There's an energy to this city that's like no other, an energy that lifts up, inspires, and nurtures. I learned community here. I learned all the things I know about being human from this place, this city, this culture. But also, I know these girls, right? I know what they're going through. I know what it feels to be raised in communities where you know you're smart and you know you're special, because when you are, you're born with it and you know it. And that's why I couldn't be more thrilled to share that the Girls Opportunity Alliance is expanding our work right here in my favorite city. We're going to be funding 14 grassroots programs that are making a real difference in the lives of girls here in my hometown, from providing mentorship and leadership training, to empowering girls through sports and dance, to preparing them for a future career through work-study programs. These organizations are there for our girls each and every day in Woodlawn, South Shore, Washington Park, and so many other neighborhoods. These programs are breaking down the barriers that girls face at home and at school so that they can make a difference for themselves and our city and our world. I could not be more thrilled to team up with these remarkable community groups and the girls they serve, and I hope you'll join us.
Lots of flooding in the low areas, up to about waist high or almost covering cars in some spots. That's what happens when you get lots of rain in a short amount of time in California. Pretty wild. This bus is half buried, half submerged. Look at that. Horrible. That sucks. Yeah, just cars being carried away in the water. Wow. Yeah, sorry 11. Sorry everybody. Let's see what else we got here. A little bit. I mean, we're in San Diego, so let's talk about the border. Tim Pool came out and said that all CBP agents facilitating human smuggling and the border invasion should be arrested immediately by Texas law enforcement. We have this dispute going on between the federal government and Texans, where they want their border stopped. They want their border shut down. They want illegal immigrants to go through the proper process and not just be flooding into the country. And they're putting up razor wire, and they're arresting people now. And then the feds came and said, no, you can't do that. And they're taking down the razor wire. Greg Abbott says this is not over. Texas's razor wire is an effective deterrent to the illegal crossings Biden encourages. I will continue to defend Texas's constitutional authority to secure the border and prevent the Biden administration from destroying our property. And then as this is all going on in Boston, you've got immigrants being using airports as shelter. And we've seen this on different airports across the country as the days go by.
On the floor of Terminal E at Logan Airport. WBZ's Louisa Moeller is live for us at the State House tonight. Louisa, the video that we just showed was taken.
We'll just leave it there. But yeah, I mean, this is, people are pointing out, this is getting closer and closer to a 10th Amendment situation. And it is. What's going to happen? What's going to happen when this continues between Texas and the federal government? Federal government thinks they have the authority just to do whatever they want. Texas knows that they have the ultimate authority. And will it get to the point where Texas secedes and other countries follow? Who knows? But it's really going in that direction. And in the middle, going into an election year, this is going to be a wild ride, folks. We'll keep our eye on it as we continue into the rest of the year. But man, it's already January 23rd. It's crazy that things are going by so quickly. This was a really interesting take on what happened. We announced yesterday, or we covered the announcement of the seals that fell into the water, the 2 seals that were announced as missing and not located, and their status has been changed to deceased by U.S. Central Command. This guy, this fellow, Matt Bracken, I believe was in the Navy. He says that he doesn't buy the story. He said, quote, "What I heard was one seal fell into the water while doing a ship boarding, and the other guy then jumped in after his swim buddy, which is normal. But both guys would have rugged inflatable life vests and Firefly infrared strobe beacons and other locator devices, chem lights, flares, etc." And then he goes into speculating about what actually happened, and he says he doesn't believe the mainstream narrative and that maybe this was something else and this isn't true. But it's just speculation, but an interesting thing to see from a veteran there. And I think it's something to consider. I mean, we don't know. We only know what we're told and the facts that we actually have at hand, which some things we don't have any facts, just what we're told. But anyway, who knows? So we'll see what happens. Anyway, going back to Texas, if they just ignore the Supreme Court and continue to protect their borders, it's going to be an interesting fight there. I'm curious to see what happens. It's going to be huge. I will say that it's going to be huge. All right. We've got General Flynn talking about fifth generation warfare again on X.com. He says that fifth generation warfare involves non-conventional methods focusing on information and psychological strategies rather than direct military confrontations. Just a reminder there that the war extends beyond any type of kinetic baloney going on, and that fifth generation warfare is something completely different. We had the U.S. come out yesterday and saying that 8 sites were targeted. The U.S. says that 8 sites were targeted, including missile systems and launchers, air defense systems, radars, and deeply buried weapons storage facilities. This is RAF joins the U.S. in second waves of Houthi strikes in Yemen. Let's watch this quick little clip. Actually, they're just going to say exactly what I just said, so we're not going to watch the clip. But that was breaking yesterday. 8 sites targeted. 21 soldiers apparently were killed in this deadliest single attack on the army since the war began in Gaza. Sorry, different story. 21 Israeli soldiers are killed in the deadliest single attack on the army since the war began. Absolutely wild stuff. And the Yemen's Houthis responded to the U.S. and UK strikes that targeted these 8 sites, and they said that they warned that the U.S. and UK strikes will not go unpunished. So we're going to see some retaliation inevitably, I'm sure. Horrible situation with all these wars going on, and it's all part of one big weird war. This is the kinetic part of the war. There's more to it, though, that's for sure. And then we had the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin coming out from the hospital in his first public comments since hospitalization. He really reassures us and lets us know everything's fine. I mean, nothing is wrong, especially as it pertains to Ukraine. And yeah, let's see what he has to say. We've got audio.
The United States continues to work hard to monitor and account for U.S. security assistance delivered to Ukraine. And we've seen no credible evidence of the misuse or illicit diversion of American equipment provided to Ukraine. But what we do see is Ukraine using the capabilities that we provided to defend itself against Russian
aggression, he says. Okay, everything's fine, folks. Don't even worry. Wow, glad he's better. But gosh, what a crazy thing to say, huh? Tony Saruga said he is a liar and just a puppet for the shadow government and deep state. Interesting take. Apparently, we have a couple tweets I found interesting by the Canadian prepper over there in Canada. He says that he posts this comment, and he comments on a post by Arya, who is a researcher and writer, I believe Palestinian. And Arya wrote that the IOF admits damage was inflicted to the Marin Air Control Center due to Hezbollah's rocket attack. The IOF added that the base has a backup system. This likely indicates the base, and contrary to their claims, underwent some critical damages, which Canadian prepper replied that attacking airports is the last step towards full-blown war. Enjoy cheap oil while it lasts. So he believes that this is escalating quickly and that the next thing is full-blown war because airports are being attacked, and that's his take. And he also says this on subterranean warfare, which is just, it's more doom and gloom, but maybe there's something to it. I don't know. This is just one person's take. Subterranean warfare makes conventional war unwinnable and nuclear war inevitable. Quote, IDF officials at all levels, including generals, say destroying the tunnel network is impossible. The Israeli Defense Forces will not destroy all the Hamas and Islamic Jihad tunnels under Gaza, possibly not even most of them. And that's a quote from Haaretz Reports. And Canadian Prepper wrote, now imagine the vast labyrinth networks under North Korea, Lebanon, Iran, China, Russia. And he doesn't say anything else. He doesn't say the United States, or he doesn't say Russia. Oh, he does say Russia. He doesn't say the United States, though. But I mean, Ukraine has it too, everywhere. So yeah, it's an interesting thought. And I guess the main takeaway is that he says, essentially, and the way I interpret it, is he's saying that because you can't win the war due to these tunnels, it's going to go to the point of nuclear. And let's hope not, man. Speaking of nuclear, we had a NOTAM alert. And we have some interesting speculation on what that's all about. Shout out to the Jackal for tagging me in this interesting video here. And by the way, this is complete speculation, but an interesting speculation to say the least. So I wanted to share it with you. Let me make sure we have sound so we don't have to watch it twice, because this one's worth watching twice, in my opinion, if we had to, unlike the Michelle Obama clip. Uh-oh. Oh, we got to go to TikTok, I suppose. Okay.
There were some interesting videos that came up on my feed this week.
What is going
People were
on
talking
here?
about a NOTAM alert
Verify.
in the Kwajalein Atoll, and a NOTAM alert is like some kind of air danger if you're an air crew or something flying into a military base, and they thought that a nuke went off. Well, there's some things they don't know about the Kwajalein Atoll. That's the site of the space monitoring system known as the Space Fence, and as the lore goes, that is our UFO monitoring system. People don't realize that there was a series of facilities across the 32nd parallel in the United States called the NAVSPACER, the Naval Space Surveillance System, that was able to surveil anything down to the size of a basketball in space or in orbit. And the new facility, the Space Fence, can supposedly monitor anything in the atmosphere or in space down to the size of a softball. It's powered by artificial intelligence, so they can model out where things are going, their trajectories, and it's just the bee's knees. And I say about this because back in the day, there were hacker groups, hacker freaker groups back in the 80s and 90s. And these were old school nerds that would try to one-up one another. And there was quite a bit of activity back in the 90s to try to figure out what was going on with UFOs, to break into government facilities, NASA, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, things like that, and try to see what kind of classified information they could find about UFOs. And there was a guy that supposedly hacked into Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and got the name of Lake Kickapoo, Texas, as being a monitoring station that picked up on UFOs. And Lake Kickapoo, Texas was one of these NAVSPACER stations across the parallel in the United States. And curiously enough, there's even a UFO book. I think it's called the 37th Parallel, the UFO Parallel, that goes right in line with these. And you got to wonder why that is. So there's some lore. John Schuessler, who used to head up MUFON, he was part of the consortium group with Bigelow and all those guys. Schuessler thought that the NAVSPACER system was to monitor UFOs as well, and wrote about it. So the old UFO lore from the old hacker groups that nobody ever heard of, that have been deleted off the internet and hidden away for years, is that Lake Kickapoo, Texas, and then the Naval Space Surveillance System, and then Space Fence are all the UFO monitoring stations. The UFO talking head, Lou Elizondo, I call him Lube Elizondo because all he's ever doing is lubing us up. He mentioned that there's one facility that they use to monitor UFO UAP activity. And when they tell you that there's airliners that come up missing, and the Malaysian Airlines flight came up missing, 9/11, you know, they can monitor anything in space at any time and have been able to for decades. Now, people would ask, like, why would the Navy be doing this? And it makes sense that the Navy would, because the Navy has been building these things and flying them. For some reason, Naval Special Weapons has been deeply involved in this field, in UFO and exotic propulsion, for a very long time. And they are the ones out there pushing a lot of the disinformation and misinformation about these things being aliens and time travelers and anything except a craft that they built at some secret submarine base in the middle of the desert that you're not supposed to know about.
Wow. I love that type of stuff, so I wanted to share it. And that is Museum of Tarot. And that's the account on Twitter that posted that. I don't know if they're the original creator, but I will take a quick look and see. It does appear that they are the original creator, so follow them if you're interested. Museum of Tarot, Tarot. Bridging science, consciousness, and metaphysics. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know about all this alien stuff, by the way. But it was interesting that they said, they basically were preventing airplanes from flying over a certain area, this atoll, saying that they had they had acquired indications that there was nuclear radiation in the area, which is just odd, prompting this video. And that was a few days ago. Onward here. Let's see. We've got a lot. Just so you know, I'm going to skip around a little bit. I do every day, so don't worry. There's just so much news, but I do want to mention the farmers around the world standing up and protesting. And this is a weird situation. I think to myself, like, is this good? Like, what are the consequences of this? What are they fighting for? They don't want any more unfair fuel subsidies. They're sick of their governments and taxes and whatnot and subsidies. And it's farmers protesting. I worry about the food supply is my problem with this. And I sometimes wonder if this is created, or if this is orchestrated or pushed on purpose, or if it's actually an organic grassroots protests happening. I just have to wonder. But my initial reaction is, oh, great. Italy launches protests against globalist policies designed to harm the farming industry. And the globalists are going after the farming industry in the US and abroad, everywhere. So it seems like a good thing, but I'm just careful because, I don't know, good things can be taken advantage of. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Scottish farmers and gamekeepers are joining the international movement to fight back against unfair subsidies as well. And onward. Well, I told you I'd talk about the censorship a little bit, so we are going to talk about that. Jordan Peterson came out and he's not happy. And is this post deleted? This post is deleted. But Jordan Peterson was complaining to Elon Musk and YouTube that he's being censored for covering these protests, in particular the farmer protests. And he says, how come my farmer protest video is only getting this amount of views when my other videos get this amount of views? I could interview a house plant and get more views than this. This is censorship. What's going on? He's deleted that post, interestingly enough. Maybe because when he tagged Elon Musk, he tagged the wrong account, I noticed. That might be why. But yeah, so it's really funny, though. It's like, dude, Jordan Peterson, we all had our accounts. We all had our accounts deleted. Okay, like at least you have an account, dude. I mean, how many of you lost accounts and never recovered those followers? I know I certainly did. It's like, dude. So yeah, these kinds of shows do not really get pushed out there by a lot of these services out there that provide people a platform to put content out there. So please make sure you're liking and sharing so we can get some direct traffic to these videos, because it's not exactly going out there organically, like being promoted through their algorithms and whatnot. Okay, at least not much, if at all. And let's talk a little bit about health. We have to be careful about what we put into our bodies and learn about our bodies, learn about anatomy, learn about our systems, and learn how things function in order to be as healthy as we can be, and take everything with a grain of salt and really look at it from all angles, because there's a lot of bad information when it comes to health out there. And this really, really disgusted me when I saw this. Let's take a look at this series of videos about chicken.
I'll show you what the fuck kind of chicken Walmart is selling. Look what the fuck the vinegar did. It opened up the fake chicken. This is that science lab made meat. Look at this shit. It's like stringy. What the fuck is this? This piece of meat is cut already. You know how? With my hands. You see this? You see this? You see this?
That's not normal.
My hand is literally cutting the chicken in half. You see this? My fingers are going through the chicken breast.
The age of lab-grown meat has arrived in this country. The Agriculture Department just approved 2 California companies to sell chicken grown in steel tanks using cells that come from an animal egg or a special bank of stored cells. The cell-cultivated chicken will first be available at a restaurant in San Francisco and another one in Washington, D.C., owned by famed chef Jose Andres, before hitting stores.
So I went to H-E-B and I went to go buy chicken breast there. And this is what chicken breast is supposed to look like. So I'm gonna cook these chicken breasts side by side and find out what this is gonna turn into. This is not any kind of chicken that I've ever cooked with before.
Let me get a little closer for you. What is Walmart up to? Is this that lab-grown chicken? You can peel off every single piece of chicken like a line. You see it?
Okay, so I'm jumping on this one today. I went to Walmart and bought some chicken. Don't judge me. And I was washing the chicken before cooking it and noticed that it's not lab-grown meat.
You're eating this dense negative energy. We have to understand that. And when you consume...
This guy says when you consume GMOs, you're going to turn into a GMO human. Which, I mean, maybe he's right. It's really scary to think about. But yeah, lab-grown meat. Really nasty, creepy stuff. Onward. Let's see here. What else? I guess let's we had an earthquake in China, I think, and then we also had a large earthquake in Vanuatu, by the way. Right? Let me see. China earthquake, because I didn't put the China earthquake in my notes for whatever reason. Several injured after 7.1 magnitude earthquake hits Western China, killing at least 3 people and collapsing 47 homes. I'll put this in my notes. So we had that 7.1, and then we had a 6.5 today, and this 7.1 was yesterday. Just so you know, we're seeing some pretty intense shaking going on. I like to keep track of what's going on that front. But we'll stop there, and we'll all reconvene again tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Same place, same time to talk about the news and events again. But before then, we all have a whole day ahead of us or a whole night ahead of us, depending on where you're at. And we're going to get to it. So everybody have a great day. Please follow my Substack and follow me on Twitter and all that. And I look forward to seeing y'all soon. So take care. God bless and Godspeed.